Good day, Nigeria. Armed bandits have struck again in Kaduna State, this time targeting worshippers during what should have been a peaceful Sunday service. And the numbers are absolutely staggering. Over 100 churchgoers were abducted from a community in Kaduna, marking yet another dark chapter in the security challenges facing Nigeria's northwestern region. The incident has sent shockwaves across the nation and reignited conversations about the safety of citizens in their own places of worship. The attack happened when members of the congregation had gathered for their regular Sunday worship service, completely unaware that danger was lurking nearby. Witnesses described scenes of chaos and terror as the gunmen rounded up men, women, and even children, forcing them out of the church building at gunpoint. The brazenness of this attack is particularly disturbing because it shows how bold these criminal elements have become, no longer operating under the cover of darkness, but now carrying out their evil deeds in full view of the community. What makes this incident even more heartbreaking is the sheer number of people affected. When we talk about over 100 people being taken from a single location, we're talking about entire families torn apart in an instant. We're talking about children who may have been separated from their parents, elderly members of the community who were simply trying to observe their faith, and young people whose futures now hang in the balance. The emotional and psychological trauma that these victims and their loved ones are experiencing right now is unimaginable, and it's something that will likely stay with them for the rest of their lives. Kaduna State has unfortunately become one of the hotspots for banditry and kidnapping activities in recent years. The state, which sits in Nigeria's northwestern region, has witnessed countless attacks on villages, communities, schools, and now places of worship. These bandits, who operate in large numbers and are often heavily armed, have created an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty in many rural areas. Farmers can no longer go to their farms freely, children are afraid to attend school, and now worshippers cannot even feel safe in their churches. The economic and social impact of this insecurity is devastating, as communities are being forced to abandon their homes and livelihoods in search of safer environments. Security agencies have been informed about the incident, and efforts are reportedly underway to rescue the kidnapped worshippers and bring the perpetrators to justice. However, many Nigerians are growing increasingly frustrated with what they perceive as a slow response to these attacks. Questions are being asked about why these bandits continue to operate with such impunity, how they are able to move such large numbers of captives without being intercepted, and what concrete steps are being taken to prevent future attacks. The government has repeatedly assured citizens that security forces are working tirelessly to tackle the banditry problem, but incidents like this one make it difficult for people to maintain their confidence in those assurances. If you are finding this information valuable and you want to stay updated on important news stories happening across Nigeria and beyond, please take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on your notifications so you never miss an update. Your support really helps us continue bringing you these important stories. The kidnapping of worshippers is particularly painful because the church represents a sanctuary, a place where people should feel protected and at peace. When criminals violate that sacred space, they are not just attacking individuals, but the very fabric of society and the values that hold communities together. Religious leaders across the country have condemned this attack in the strongest terms, calling it an assault on religious freedom and human dignity. Many are now calling for enhanced security measures at places of worship, though the reality is that many churches, especially in rural areas, simply do not have the resources to provide adequate security for their congregations. The families of those abducted are now facing an agonizing wait, hoping and praying for the safe return of their loved ones. In many previous cases, bandits have demanded huge ransoms for the release of their captives, putting families in the impossible position of having to raise money they often don't have. Even when ransoms are paid, there's no guarantee that the victims will be released unharmed or at all. Some families have had to sell their properties, take loans, or rely on community support to raise ransom money, plunging themselves into debt and poverty in the process. This latest attack raises serious questions about the state of security infrastructure in affected areas and whether enough is being done to protect vulnerable communities. While the federal government and state authorities continue to deploy security personnel to troubled zones, the reality on the ground suggests that these measures are not yet sufficient to stem the tide of violence. Local vigilante groups and community watch teams have emerged in many areas to fill the security gap, but they are often poorly equipped and no match for the sophisticated weapons that bandits possess. Make sure you like this video if you are learning something new today, because it really helps the channel grow and reach more people who need to hear these important stories. As investigations continue into this horrific incident, Nigerians are calling for a comprehensive strategy that goes beyond military intervention. Many experts believe that addressing the root causes of banditry, including poverty, unemployment, lack of education, and the proliferation of weapons, is essential for any lasting solution. Others are advocating for better intelligence gathering and coordination between security agencies to prevent attacks before they happen, rather than simply responding after the damage has been done. The international community is also watching these developments with concern, as Nigeria's security challenges have implications for regional stability and humanitarian conditions. Human rights organizations have documented numerous cases of violence against civilians in the northwest, and they continue to call on the Nigerian government to fulfill its primary responsibility of protecting the lives and property of its citizens. For now, the focus remains on securing the release of the abducted worshippers and ensuring they return home safely to their families. Every day that passes increases the anxiety and suffering of those waiting for news of their loved ones. This is a developing story, and we will continue to monitor the situation and bring you updates as more information becomes available.